Rise and grind. It's a new day full of new opportunities, new possibilities, and we're going to be talking about the best Black Friday and Cyber Monday camera deals. So let's just jump right into it. My name is Sean Cannell. This is Think Media, helping you with the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. And we're going to be looking at the best camera deals and video gear deals for content creators. So I found some very hard to find Amazon deals that nobody is talking about. A lot of deals under $20, which is cool to see. Stocking stuffers or just kit for your own type of setup. I'm going to be talking about 4 tips so you can save the most money and get the best deals. And then my content creator checklist as well. And a lot of stuff on Amazon.com, but there's other sites as well. So buckle your seatbelt, smash the like button, and let's just dive right into this. What's on your video gear list, though, is my question. What are you looking for this year? Let me know. Tip number 1 with 4 quick tips for you. You got to be signed up for Amazon Prime, especially to get Prime member early access deals. And so, of course, links in the description down below. My affiliate links. Tip 2. Longer deals versus lightning deals. And so right off the top here, I've got some deals that are, Black Friday is kind of interesting because it's no longer really a day. There's going to be some special deals, but it's really like a season. We just actually got some new appliances and they say the deals go from like mid-November to like mid-December. Now, of course, Cyber Monday and Black Friday, there's a few specific deals, but even here on like Amazon.com, you can click Black Friday deals. And then I recommend using a desktop computer. So you could check something like cameras and photo on the left side here. So you can narrow things down and then really get to the actual deals. Now, a lot of things here, you'll see things like this GVM. This would actually be a great recommended lightning deal, limited time right now. Not only do you've got the 40% off of this massive 3-light kit with the case, you even have a coupon code here you could check for an extra $50 off. And it's a lightning deal. So it ends in 5 hours from the time of recording it. And we'll talk a little bit more about different deals, but this is an RGB light kit. And so that's one example, which is that tip of the longer deals versus the lightning deals. A lot of the video deals in this video are going to be relevant, even if you're watching the replay, probably throughout the season. Tip 3. Amazon specifically has extended returns until January 31st, 2021. Important to know because you can really shop with peace of mind, not only to potentially if you need to return something just because you're like, I don't know if I actually needed that or wanted that. They make that really easy. But on some of these things, you may test it out and be like, that's not what I thought it was or whatever. It's just a lot of peace of mind. That's a super long return window. 2.5 months in a way, right, since recording this. And B&H Photo's doing the same thing, February 1st. Tip 4, shop great deals on sites like B&H Photo because there's other really great deals there as well. Now, today's video is brought to you by StreamYard. Shout out to the sponsor of this video. You can get $10 off using the link in the bio. I'm using StreamYard right now. How do I do all these little windows and things? I can turn that little Think logo up in the corner. You see that? It's pretty powerful, isn't it? You like that? See that little Think little? By the Never Settle picture. So you can do things like that. And in fact, even embed videos and play videos, it's all web-based. So it's a really easy way to live stream. Something I highly recommend you be doing as a content creator. I'm actually going to be talking about different capture cards. Did you know that the Canon M50, a lot of Canon SL2 Canon's cameras have free software that you can live stream through a USB cord, especially on PC. It works really well. There's kind of some bugs in the Mac version. All of that is really easy to do. And then StreamYard's one of our favorite ways. If you interview guests, you want to interview people, bring them onto a show, start a video podcast. We love StreamYard. It's the easiest to use live streaming software, in my opinion. And it's free too, by the way, with like the watermarks and everything, but you can get a pro account or the better account for $10 off. Link in bio. Shout out to sponsor. Let's talk about top camera and video gear deals for content creators. Check this out. BOYA, 19-foot lavalier microphone. We use this all the time. And so it's a $20 microphone, but this deal brings it down to 16. That's 20% off. But look, there's a Black Friday coupon here too. You can save an extra 5%. Bang. Make sure to check that coupon box. Kind of small on the screen. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of that. This will plug into, you notice that it has 3 rings on it, tip, ring, whatever. And so it works with both smartphones and DSLRs. And you can, it's a great mic. We recommend this all the time. Super great price, especially if you have a content creator in your life, you know, great price. And it's really all you need. There's definitely nicer mics, but it's pretty amazing for the price. So highly recommended. Black Friday deal happening right now with that extra coupon. Did I miss? Okay. I got one that I'm pumped about. Deity microphones on B&H Photo. So this is a more pro shotgun mic, right? I love this guy because you have a stepper gain on the back. It's like a little twisty knob as opposed to just like plus 10 or 20 dB. And you're like, that's too much. Minus 10. You can granularly do it. Massive battery life, rechargeable battery, couple different high pass filters, really good build quality and whatever. And so this is a normally $200 shotgun mic. And the Black Friday savings is $40 off. That ends November 30th. Can't recommend the Deity shotgun mic enough. Okay. Neewer ring light, 18 inches. And one of the reasons why I would recommend this guy is a couple reasons. One, ring lights are nice, but you see that smartphone mount in the middle? Yeah. And so it's got that little smartphone mount. One of the best setups, you know, the best way to start creating content. We talk about this at Think Media. Yes, we just did a video, best cameras under $700. You can check that out in our library. If you just make sure you're subscribed or check the channel, video just came out. Of course, you can invest in a, you know, a camera, but one of the best things to use is your smartphone and accessorize it. For example, if you were to go the BOYA mic I just recommended, it's $15 with the extra 5% off coupon. If you were to get this Neewer ring light, and then mount your smartphone in the middle, now you'd have the lighting handled, the tripod handled. You could plug in the BOYA mic and you'd be good. You know what I mean? You'd be good to go. You'd have basically a whole YouTube studio for under $100. This is 71 right now with 55% off, but it's also an extra $10 off coupon. If you make sure to check the box. And again, I really recommend interfacing with Amazon on desktop. Sometimes you don't even see all these options on mobile or whatever. So all that's pretty cool. And one thing to note though, and this shouldn't be a big deal because you probably will be shooting. Well, no, I'll note it. See how the smartphone holder will really just hold your phone horizontal, like for YouTube videos, but not necessarily for TikToks and Instagram lives and things like that. It looks like you could tilt the little ball head thing sideways. But what I recommend, and I found this deal, is I would probably get this as well. And whenever you're shopping for any of these kind of deals and you want like a smartphone tripod mount, make sure it goes both ways because come on, it's 2021. Like you gotta be doing TikToks, IGTVs. Just chances are you're going to be creating vertical content. And so some of these smartphone holders really only hold it in you know, horizontal mode for typical video, but I think the versatility with the little knob on the back, this guy's 20% off Black Friday deal. It's only normally $8. You can get it for $6.39. Highly recommended deal there. And then when it comes to a couple other ring light things to look at, these guys are, you can see a lot of different deals if you are on a budget for all kinds of different budgets. Now, this is kind of why I recommend that return policy. We have not reviewed every single one of these at Think Media, for example. So you'd want to do your research. But we recently did a video of a $70 YouTube studio. And so this particular one, Nolan covered, and you get kind of everything you want for $70. Again, for the smartphone situation. I'm going to update. This one happens to be out of stock. It's a UBZ. A brand that we love. This one. This was a pretty solid one. And so, yeah, shop the deals. Now, let me show you this hack for Black Friday deals, and we'll use UBZ as an example. So if you want to skip with anything that you type in here, meaning you want to look for Canon cameras. I don't know how to spell UBZ. UBEES. Ubisize. Black Friday. So you want to select on desktop. Notice this. You want to select Black Friday. Then you can do a search, and then you can get specific straight to the deals. Now, right up top might be a sponsored. This is not even UBZ. And this is like an extendable selfie tripod thing. This looks good, but notice my point is you can't flip the flop and put it in selfie mode. You can only put it in horizontal mode, which is okay unless you want to not do that. I don't think it's okay, actually. Come on, what are you doing, manufacturers? So Ubisize, or however you say it, look at this one. So this would be like, 20% off, solid savings. And you've got the mount is right in, see that? You can go vertical and horizontal. Got a little, this is actually by Yesker. And check this out. There's another promotion here. You can always look for these extra savings. Save 5% on a collapsible green screen. So maybe you want a green screen. You can look around different details like that when you're looking at these listings. Smash like if you're getting value out of some of these tips and these insights. But I love the Neewer brand as far as it's a solid brand when it comes to lighting and accessories. You can check out some of these other deals. Make sure to use that hack and actually select Black Friday and then do your search of maybe a brand or a product that you're looking for. And I'm going to be going through my YouTube checklist here in a second for content creators. And so we'll get to that. But again, if you want to see a summary of all these products and gear, link in description below. Here's one of my favorites, the ULANZI U-Rig Pro smartphone mount. A little bit different than what we're talking about, more robust than your little just smartphone mount. This guy is when you really get serious about creating content. And so what you can do, of course, is just mount your phone in the middle like that, right? Here's the Deity mic, but you could use, any kind of shotgun mic. You can mount lights on top, things like that. And if I had my iPhone dongle, then you can just plug in your mic, and you've got a tripod screw on the bottom. And you might be like, Sean, well, what about vertical? You've got a tripod screw on the side. So you can actually mount this on a tripod vertical. And it just gives you, there's 3 slots, cold shoes up top. So you could put a light up here. You could put a power bank for charging or whatever. And you've also got a couple quarter threads on the top as well. So you can screw in all kinds of accessories as you see in the picture. Now, normally this is only a $20 rig, highly recommended, but to grab it on the Black Friday deal, 24% off. You can even see Amazon now telling you that it's the lowest price in the last 30 days, of course. Great price. This will make a great gift. Again, empowering anybody to start creating content just with their smartphone. Highly recommended deal that's out there. And I would imagine you could see this all holiday season. Remember, some of these deals will just be going on continuously, so you can check current prices in the description. And some of these will even go maybe more on sale with lightning deals that come up as well. Of course, the Sony ZV-1, not a crazy savings. It's been steady at $100 off across websites. Sometimes what you can look for is people throwing an SD card or like a camera bag or something. But the Sony ZV-1, that actually topped our list for the best camera under $700. Huge battle in our mind between the Canon M50 Mark I and Sony ZV-1. And if you want to see that video, link in description to us going deeper into some of these topics. We've been covering these throughout the year on Think Media. Omar really breaks the 2 cameras down. They're not, they're pretty close, but one has interchangeable lenses. I won't get too far into it. Just check the videos out. Here's a cool deal. If you haven't thought about getting a camcorder and you want to get a camera to create content, the Sony FDR AX100 is a 1-inch sensor camcorder. Remember, the quality of your image and your photography has a lot to do with the sensor size inside of the camera. Smartphones are getting good, but their sensors are not very big. So sometimes that affects things like depth of field. Like on your iPhone or your Samsung or whatever, you go into like blurry background mode, it's fake. That's why it has like hard edges. Your ear gets chopped off because it's just like softwareizing the background. And of course, cameras are getting better, smartphone cameras, but nothing compares to a proper sensor, especially if you really want good depth of field, good low light, different things like that. Enter the Sony FDR AX100. We haven't got our hands on this yet at Think Media, but I've heard great things. And the big difference with camcorders is your inputs, of course, microphone input, things like that. Flip screen, yes. Image stabilization, all that kind of stuff. And this guy with a 1-inch sensor, typically camcorders have smaller sensors unless you go up to like a much more fancy one. So this one's $200 off on B&H Photo, and something to look into. I did a video on camcorder versus DSLR. The biggest thing you need to ask yourself if you're in the market for a camera is, does a record limit matter to you? Someone in the Think Media community said, I'm going to be shooting fitness videos. What camera would you recommend? And the two considerations I thought for shooting like workout videos was, number one, you may want a wide angle lens. Like, how big is your room that you're going to be working out in? Do they need to see you do the full yoga routine? Do they need to see you do the full jumping jacks? You know, and you're like, my apartment's too small. Like, it's like, how wide of field of view can you get to create that content? Number two, can you do continuous recording on it? Most DSLRs and mirrorless cameras today are still have a recording limit of 30 minutes. And that's why a lot of the Sonys are so amazing, like pretty much across the board, 6100, 6400, 6600. They have unlimited record limits. You look at something even like some of the older Sonys, not super old, but like the A7 III, it actually still has a 30-minute record limit. The newer A7C, I'm throwing some numbers at you, is unlimited. It's just a good question to ask yourself. It may not matter, because if you're a vlogger, you're only shooting in clips. You're rarely ever going to shoot a 30-minute clip, if ever. Some of the cameras still allow you to live stream, but DSLRs, if you are a teacher, a lot of people are doing online learning, you're an educator, you're going to record in front of a whiteboard, you want to record a 45-minute class, you're in, you know, house of worship, you want to record a 50-minute sermon. Camcorders are something to consider. And typically the trade-off is you don't get very good image quality, but this guy really solves that. And you can see examples on YouTube and stuff too. A couple other deals, the Canon SL2, of course, pretty good deal, like 150 off. T8i, 100 off. These aren't amazing. I'll share some better Canon deals later. I think the M6 Mark II, one of our favorite cameras, I saw during Amazon Prime Day that this did go on sale for 24 hours straight. So you can watch, maybe make a list and tell me in the comments, like, again, what's on your list. You can actually watch deals and maybe eventually find, you know, you don't want to miss the deal, but in terms of like $100 off, but that's probably going to be pretty common most of the year. You might be able to even get that. So you could watch to see if there's any, you know, lightning sales or one-day deals that could happen. And of course, Cyber Monday could be interesting as well, right? I would also say, though, you're never going to see like dramatic price drops on cameras. You can be pretty secure to make the investment, because it's not going to be like 50% off, you know, on the Canon M6 Mark II for 24 hours. I mean, that would be insane. That would probably destroy the Canon's margins or any camera manufacturer's margins, because it's electronics and whatever else. So a couple thoughts: G7X Mark II, 120, 130 off. And a couple M50 deals. It's cool to see these, right? 550, that's $100 off. This is B&H, pretty much across Amazon as well. You can get the creator kit. That's kind of, maybe there's a creator in your life. You get the SD card, Rode mic, the Canon M50, $150 off for $600. It comes in a cool box. That's a pretty giftable situation right there. Here's one of my faves. And let me just talk a little bit about this and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm to get extra savings this holiday season. Thank you. The Sony A7 III. Okay. So now we're stepping up in price here, but we've used this camera. This camera built Think Media for about 2 years. And it's a full frame camera. So you're investing more. Lenses are going to be more expensive. But originally, Omar at Think Media got really pumped on this camera. I bought my own and took it everywhere with me. I'm going to show you some results with it. Now, the new Sony A7C is basically the same camera and a little bit of a smaller body. It has a flip screen. But as far as image quality, it's like the exact same pretty much. If not the exact same. Maybe the color profiles were sort of updated on the newest one. So this is like a workhorse. Now, quick background on Sony cameras. The Sony A7S is out now. S, I think, stands for kind of sensitivity, meaning it's better in low light. It's more for filmmakers. It's typically less megapixels, so it's better in low light. This Sony A7R 2, 3, and 4, and whatever R's resolution is better for photography. All of them pretty much do everything. But if you were going to use photography as a priority, you might get the A7S, whatever number. You know, photography, you might get the R. the A7 III, no R or S that we're looking at here, is basically your best hybrid model. You get kind of the best of both worlds. As a photography camera, incredible. As a video camera, unbelievable. And so really beautiful. And we've used it a ton. So we love this camera. It's $300 off at B&H Photo. And that drops it lower than the A7C right now, which is kind of crazy because, you know, I was looking at Frono's photos video and he said he'd rather have this one because you have the viewfinder, depends on what you're going to use it for. This does, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about this, but this does have a record limit. Never been an issue for us because we use it for YouTube videos where it's clips and not like long form content. But if that's something to consider, and you can still, of course, live streaming with it and whatnot, clean HDMI out, I think. And then here's a couple of lenses at B&H Photo, holiday savings of 50 off and holiday savings of 80 off. Tamrons, these are my favorite lenses for the Sony E-mount cameras. The 28 to 75, I took it everywhere. I'll show you some photos in a second. And then the 17 to 28 is like kind of an ultimate YouTube lens. And on a full frame camera, which this is a great setup. And I bring this all up too, because a friend of mine recently asked, her name's Sarah, lives in California, wants to upgrade past her phone for photography mainly, but wants a versatile camera. So this is a hybrid. It's going to do great video and great photography. And she said, you know, I've got about $1,000 or $2,000 to spend. And I actually asked, how much do you have to spend? She's like, well, how much do you think I should spend? I said, well, look, if you really want better photography and you got like a newer iPhone or whatever, like you need to spend a lot of money to make a big difference. Of course you can get, you know, M50, A7, but like, unless you start investing in lenses and some other things, like if you really want to make an impact, and she has a face painting business, kind of wants to kind of get into like wedding photography or portrait photography. I was like, you should like do it right. If you're going to make the like, if you're going to invest $1,800, you might as well invest $2,200. Maybe easier to say that but you understand what I mean? Like you're going to use this thing. You want to get the right camera. Sean, she's like, what camera would I get? I said, wait till the holiday savings deals. And this is the camera I'd recommend. A7 III. You're going to be able to crush video. If you want to do video production, weddings, video production for business, you're going to be able to crush that. But then also if you want to do photography, and then either or of these lenses, I would get the 17 to 18 if you were in like a small apartment, a lot of like talking head YouTube videos. But the 28 to 75 is the lens. So this camera, like autofocus is true for Sony across the board. Pretty unreal because I hand this camera to other people, like my wife. And, you know, I love my wife, but she's not like the ultimate mirrorless camera DSLR operator. But like, I'm just like, I get the settings right, I just hand it to her. It's going to nail focus. The focus is ridiculous. Like, look how tack sharp this photo is. Obviously, the sharpness, everything. This is all A7 III. So we've taken this camera everywhere. And in response to my friend Sarah's question, this is something to consider. I mean, the photos, you're crushing smartphones. Like there's no comparison to be able to pull off some of these shots. And every single one of these shots is done with the 28 to 75 2.8 Tamron lens, which is going to cost you, right, another $800. So I'm completely aware that we are talking about, you know, $2,500, but that'd be my recommendation. And you're like, this is pro. Now you're in a pro situation. This is 4th of July. I handed it to my mom. I was like, Mom, here, snap a picture. And she nailed focus. Like, how's that possible? So these were some different photos. I was using that again, the 25. I don't even have the 17 to 28 Tamron. I'm going to grab that as well because those two lenses together becomes like the ultimate kit. If you look at the bokeh there, the blurry lights behind my wife, Sonia, and these aren't even like using a 1.4 or 1.8 lens. It's just the Tamron. Pretty unreal. The low light's unreal. The video is unreal. So that was kind of a rabbit trail for answering that question. That's one of my favorite deals. $300 off of the body of the Sony A7 III. Highly recommended. Check it out. All right. Smash like if you are learning something today. I'm going to get to some questions in a second. This one's a cool deal. $240 off. Sigma art lens. Again, fixed 2.8. That's what we're looking for. This goes back to, hey, Sean, what's going to be like a great photography camera? Well, it's not just really, in fact, your camera, if you get an M50 with the kit lens, the biggest bang for your buck you can make is on the lenses. And you also might be like, well, what the heck? If I buy a $500 Canon M50, why would I spend $1,059 on the lens? Because it's everything. This thing nails focus fast. 2.8 all the way through is how you're going to get that, blurry depth of field, 24 to 70 fixed art lens for Canon EF, which means it will work on a full frame camera, but also on all of Canon's crop sensors for DSLRs. So if you're a DSLR owner or you're thinking about getting a 6D Mark II or something like that, killer deal. The DJI Ronin-S, $348, $211 off. If you're looking for a good gimbal for lighter cameras, can keep in mind, just make sure it could hold the weight of the camera setup you want it to hold. Great gimbal for those videographers and filmmakers in the crew. Love these deals. 25% off of Adobe Creative Cloud right now. And that's going to get you, monthly. That is what we use at Think Media for everything. Adobe Premiere, Adobe Audition for audio. Lightroom is where I edit all my photos. Those ones I was just showing you, those did go through Lightroom. I use Omar El-Takori's LUTs, which he sells, and Lightroom presets. And what else? Like Photoshop for all the thumbnails and whatnot. So all that's there. Photoshop Elements, if you want to save money, pay one time, because Adobe Creative Cloud is a monthly subscription. You want kind of more of that like beginner path to learning Photoshop and Premiere. It's called Elements, and Elements 2021 on a Black Friday deal, normally $150, $90. And you get both video editing and Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere Elements bundle, $90. If you're looking to edit video, great. And looking to edit thumbnails, great. And get into the game for a great price, that would be a smart move that you could make on the latest version of Elements. The Samsung 2 terabyte T7 portable SSD, $90 off. These typically don't go on major sales. We use these expensive SSD drives, but super fast. So let's bring it full circle when we start talking about more pro gear, because you can buy cheaper hard drives that are also not SSDs. You can get like 8 terabytes for like $80 these days. But like the speed with which the disk spins of a past hard drive, the IO ports, the in-out ports are maybe not the fastest connections. Every aspect of the throughput might not be the fastest. So I Think Media, for speed, we put out 5 videos a week now, right? We put 2 on Think Marketing a week. We edit 4K. So that's a whole another debate, like 4K versus 1080, but the A7 III uncropped 4K, full sensor readout, beautiful. To edit that 4K, capture all the footage, not fill up our laptops or computers, we use these SSD drives a lot and plug these into a USB-C kind of Mac input is what we've been using the most lately. And you can edit right off of your hard drive. If you've ever tried to edit off an external hard drive that wasn't super fast, it like slows your whole workflow down. So these are definitely pricey, but we love them for speed of workflow. Again, a recommendation for more if you're kind of into pro stuff out there. We got the Sony Alpha A6600, $100 off. Not a crazy savings, but a killer camera. Yes, you got the flip screen. We've covered this at length on Think Media. So again, links in the description below to our playlists and videos about some of these top cameras, but that's one to look at over the season. What's the difference between, again, this or the A7 III or the new A7C? Sensor size. So this is an APS-C sensor. It's a smaller sensor, still great compared to a full frame sensor. And then price. And it kind of affects everything because you pay $1,300 here, but lenses are a little bit more affordable typically for a crop sensor camera, and they're usually more expensive for a full frame camera. But one of the reasons why we love this, they improve the battery life. It has a headphone jack and a mic input. It does have IBIS in-body image stabilization. This, to put it another way, my friend Ben from Keto Camp and one of the members of our Video Ranking Academy community, he goes, Sean, just tell me what camera to buy. He was using like an older 6D, not even Mark II, no flip screen, and it had the record limits. And he does a lot of teaching on like the ketogenic diet and all the science stuff, sometimes for longer than 30 minutes. He didn't have a flip screen, and I knew he didn't need to do photography. If you're going to really do photography, full frame, my opinion. absolutely find a way to get a full frame camera if you really want to do photography right, or at a high pro level. And so I said A6600, Ben. I was like, you got the flip screen, headphone jack, mic input, unlimited record time, great battery length. Here's some lenses. Tamron, same ones usually, because then they can scale up if you upgrade later. He's in love with it. He couldn't love it more. And video is his priority, and took his videos to another level. So that's another one we highly recommend here at the Think Media. GVM lighting deals. Omar has talked a lot about this. Now, I noticed if you don't like approach it the right way, like let's see this Black Friday. Let's go GVM 90 watt. Okay, that's not right. So that's GVM 90 watt. Yeah. So this guy, Omar, this is sick because even at 319, this is like Omar's favorite light right now for that really soft light. We just did that studio video. So to get 20% off of this guy is a super smart move. Again, if you want to sort of level up to that Peter McKinnon vibe, you know, larger softbox situation. And then GVM in general, one of our favorite lighting companies. A couple questions to ask yourself. Do you need RGB? That stands for red, green, blue. And how big do you need your panels to be? Do you need 3? Do you need 2? If you really just need like a bicolor lighting kit, which means it covers all spectrum of white, and a simple kit like this, you can see different deals. This is 17% off. And GVM, we've worked with them before. I mean, they're not, you know, sponsoring this video, but they've been a sponsor of other content, and their goal is to kind of be like higher than your really cheap lighting kits. Like sometimes on Amazon, you're like super rolling the dice as well, but not like super crazy, like some of the very expensive out of reach lighting kits. And I think they do that extremely well. The build quality, their overall branding, like, and what you get for the price. So they basically, in my opinion, they hit that sweet spot of you maybe invest a little bit more than the super cheap stuff on whatever website, but you get pro level quality at a super affordable price. And their mission is to help creators like you and me. So a lot of good GVM deals that you could be shopping all season, including on B&H. And I go grab this one right now because it's a deal zone, kind of like B&H Photos lightning deal. This is actually when I first bought GVM, way before we worked with them, right when they came on the scene. During the holidays, I bought a 3 video light kit. So you got all 3 kits, they're RGB, and for like $259. And that's looks like $100 off, which is insane because this is 3 lights, RGB. And if you haven't seen the amazing YouTube studio background, how we do the cool colored thumbnails, how we do the different, like obviously you see the pink behind Heather there, green behind Omar. That's by having just a piece of paper behind us and then splashing the color lights on to the paper. And that's the cool thing about having an RGB kit. Or maybe you want to like just splash blue behind your office or whatever. Really, really cool. So that's a sick deal to look at. And you could shop RGB lights all season. I'm a huge fan of the GoPros. I just watched a summer montage of the 5K footage that's capable of coming out of the GoPro Hero 9. And I about spit out my drink. Like I was just, it was sickening. I texted to Omar. I was like, bro, watch this on a full-size TV and it'll melt your face off. I was like, I can't believe that camera's $400. It's $50 off. Now, again, not interchangeable lenses. You usually need like a lot of sunlight to make things look great with the GoPro. The real interesting thing is that the Hero 8 is $150 off. That's the one I've used the most like these last couple summers. I think it's only been out for like a year. So last summer and then this year. And so that was also took it like UTV, ultra terrain, ultimate terrain vehicles. What does a UTV stand for? Utility terrain vehicle. And took them out, quads, water case, the full thing. GoPro's really cool if you're looking for some of those deals. We talked about this on a recent video. Best Canon M50 deal is the fact that not only can you pick them up if they're in stock, certified refurbished. Canon says our refurbished products showcase our dedication to product excellence. And so you basically are going to get it in like a cardboard box, like a Canon box, but like kind of a repackage with plastic, fully 1-year warranty. So it's like same as new. And normally it's already on sale for like 500 bucks for the Canon M50 body. But Black Friday and holiday savings, I think it's going on for a few days, it's even more discounted. So the fact you could get a Canon M50 with the kit lens, with the 1-year warranty for $438.99, you got to be joking. Smart move. And again, if you're really on the fence between Canon M50 or ZV-1, check out the video in the description where Omar breaks it down. It really depends on your needs. It depends on, can you live with not being able to change the lenses, things like that. And even price, $438.99 versus $700 is a big difference. It's almost half the price for like twice the impact. If you look at the video we just posted yesterday, it's all shot on the M50. It'll blow your mind what's possible when you learn how to use it. We have a whole tutorial series. So definitely a great camera. M50 versus the M50 Mark II. Personally, I'm going $438.99 and getting the Mark I and using Canon's free software for the live streaming aspect, because you basically just get a clean HDMI output with the new one. And then I'm going to use that money to invest in some maybe better lenses or some lighting or a ring light or a tripod and some other things. But you got to do you. And so those are just a few tips. Couple deals on Joby. Normally the 5K, this is a very professional, Gorilla Pod. Some people are like, the plastic ones, the cheaper ones, like they don't like eventually they break or the leg no longer holds it up. There's a big difference between Joby's cheaper products, which are not that cheap, like 35, 40 bucks. So there's probably better on the lower end. But once you go into their higher end, which are like brushed aluminum, they're insane. These are built like tanks. Mind you, it's a $110 Gorilla Pod, holds 5 kilograms, right? And so good deal. It's like 30 bucks off. And will hold much heavier 11-pound cameras. The little guy, the Gorilla Pod 500, that's actually not really one of my favorites, but you can check some of those deals out. And remember to use that hack that I showed you earlier on how to get the best deals. So Canon M50, I noticed that the SL3s were all out of stock. Maybe because the last video we talked about, I don't know how many they have in stock. That's the thing with these refurbished deals, is they don't last typically because it's a limited number of stock. And then check this out, this little guy. We recommend the Cam Link, which is about a $100 capture card for live streaming. If you do have a clean HDMI output, that's the key point, and you're not going to use like Canon software, which will just work through USB. You could go, not only is this 24% off, and $20 is insane already, but you can get an extra $10 off. Make sure to click this coupon. Key point, this is 1080p, 30 frames a second, which is fine. There's also the 60 frames a second version, costs a little bit more, and you can still save an extra 8% when you apply the coupon. And these are super well reviewed. Kyle on the Think Media team has used this every single day. We do meetings on Zoom during our work week, and he's always got his M50 that he's streaming through with. Actually, he's just using USB. Omar uses this with a ZV-1 with a clean HDMI output. So anyways, if you're looking for a video capture card, this will plug into USB. You can plug in HDMI from then whatever camera. And the question is, does it have clean HDMI output? And it gets the job done. It solves the job. And you're like, it's 75% cheaper than a Cam Link. Crazy. And so let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to share with my content creator checklist with you in just a second. We've got some other deals to cover, and smash like if you're getting value. But I do think that there was definitely some good deals and a lot of cool deals under 20 bucks that I think are cool for content creators. I believe there's never been a better time than right now to get into the content creation game. Yes, competition is rising, but at the same time, affordable tools, more people are coming online. Social media consumption is rising, and the pandemic has pushed a lot of people online. It's pushed e-commerce to be more of a thing. It's pushed adult social media use has doubled. And so the ability to create content from home, to live stream, to use tools like StreamYard, to use your smartphone, to invest in an affordable camera and potentially build like a media business, a content creator business. It's a crazy time. And so, always bring it down to make a list of what matters most. If, again, you're shopping for your own kit, your own studio, your own battle station, and let me know what gear are you shopping for. So I'm going to share my content creator checklist with you in a second, but I also have, we're doing a Black Friday deal. If you haven't heard about this yet, check this out. Think Media has a Black Friday deal on our tube starter kit. You can get over 90% off right now. And what it is a power pack template and tutorial bundle that actually will help you start your YouTube channel right or revive your current YouTube channel. Some have asked, I already have a couple thousand subscribers. Would this help me? Absolutely. The title guide alone could give you some strategic video ideas and titles that could get that click-through rate and even just trigger video ideas that could trigger growth on your channel. Monetization guide, 51 different ways to make money on YouTube. And so this is our holiday special. I'm excited to do our checklist in a second, but here's a little bit of details about the starter kit.
Do you feel lost on YouTube? Do you need clarity or inspiration to jumpstart your YouTube channel? Our YouTube Starter Kit is a power pack digital asset bundle that will dramatically shortcut your path to creating or reviving your YouTube channel. Learn how to create eye-catching thumbnails with our step-by-step tutorial. Get video ideas that'll get you views with our title guide, and learn the best ways to make money with our 51 money-making ideas. You'll also learn the titles working right now with this digital kit. Grab yours today and get instant access to these 6 incredible resources valued at over $630. Right now, we have a limited time special where you can get this whole starter kit for $37. Head to tubestarterkit.com to get it before the sale is over.
Super pumped about the YouTube starter kit. You got to just check it out. So link in the description down below, tubestarterkit.com, and you'll see all of the resources we packed in there. In fact, our thumbnail training, when it comes to the photography, which I talked about, I showed you some photos earlier, my Lightroom process, my Photoshop process, I've never released that anywhere else. It's like 90 minutes long where I just break down exactly everything I've learned about thumbnails and tutorial of how to do that with Photoshop. There's also some user-friendly trainings, whole training from a thumbnail expert friend of mine who spoke at Growth Video Live on the best aspects of thumbnails. It's super power-packed. And so we're excited. Holiday special, tubestarterkit.com. Check that out. Content creator checklist. These are the categories that I'm thinking about all season. Do you need a camera? Are you shopping for camera lenses? Remember in our last video with Omar, best cameras under 700, he said, it's the lens that creates the look. The camera can only do so much. If you have, in this photo is pictured a Canon M50, the lenses you could invest in, the Sigma 16 1.4, for example, they can change everything. They can bring new life to your camera. So you might not need a new camera. You may just want to invest in lenses. Live streaming gear. Do you need a capture card, a USB mic, smartphone accessories? We talked about the rigs, the BOYA mic, that's $15. Lighting, like a ring light, softbox light, a light that it connects to your desk for streaming. Like what do you need? Microphones, podcast gear. Are you thinking about podcasting or maybe doing a video podcast and combining, filming with video and then capturing audio into a Zoom H4n or some kind of an audio recorder so it's more pro and whatever. I bring that up because I think video podcasting is one of the biggest opportunities going into 2021. Why? Because if you build a setup to video podcast, you not only have the YouTube video, you also have the audio, which you can then release on Spotify, Google, Apple. And so there's a reason we started the Think Marketing podcast. It's our podcast that's every Tuesday. And the key is we are focusing on it being a video podcast. And so, mind you, this is Think Media. So Omar just talked about the setup, by the way, but you don't have to get this level of stuff, but we have definitely pro gear. So maybe you're a business owner, or maybe somebody you want to really just step up and invest in like a YouTube business and a media business, or in that content marketing arm of your business. This was the setup we had going. These are Sony cameras, by the way. So point being, podcast gear, this Shure microphone is plugged into like a Zoom H6. And the audio is recorded separate. We had multi-camera. It's pretty fancy, but let's break it down a little more simpler. You could put your smartphone up, which does not have a record limit, probably hit record, and then maybe have a good USB mic plugged into an affordable audio recorder and solo video podcast. And again, we distribute our video podcast. If you haven't subscribed, Think Marketing on Apple or Spotify, and then the Think Marketing YouTube channel, we are able to sit down and not just record this content and leverage it for the YouTube channel, But again, really then building up that audio side of things as well. So if you haven't thought about video podcasting, make sure to watch the video podcasting series that we have here on Think Media, link in the description down below to that. And podcast storage. Do you need SD cards, drives? One of the bottlenecks, if you're doing photography or sometimes maybe trying to record 4K, your SD cards might not be fast enough. And so if you get that A7 III Sarah and you get that Tamron lens, you want to make sure you get some fast enough SD cards to keep things going so it doesn't bog down if you're snapping a lot of photos. One of the reasons, yeah, she wanted to invest in a nicer camera too was motion. Smartphones sometimes can't handle as well like your kid running and doing a backflip off a jungle gym. You know, if you want to get that perfect shot photography wise, and then low light's one of the biggest ones. So, but SD cards can help speed that up. Do you need to, you know, back some things up, do some things regarding drives, Wi-Fi routers and networking that can speed up your workflow at home or at the office, different accessories, laptops or computers. I'm going to be doing some more streams over the next couple of days, so I'm not going to go into all these different categories. But again, let me know what's on your list. And that's kind of my checklist. I sort of look through this lens as I'm looking at deals on B&H Photo and Amazon, as well as the manufacturer's websites directly. If you are into some software, maybe like Filmora, great. Wondershare by Filmora. It's another good software. There's some Black Friday deals, Cyber Monday deals going on there. And it depends on what you need. So what is it you need? Question of the day. Let me know in the comment section below. If you've got a specific question, let me know. And then what's on your video gear list this year? And smash like if you got value today. Do you recommend the A7C? We love the A7C. So I know I was talking to the deal this year is on the A7 III, which is a couple years old now. But if you go to Think Media, one of the cool ways you can find stuff is you can type in the word Think Media and then like Sony A7C. If you know and you're curious about a camera we're talking about, we have a video on the A7C versus the A6600. The full review that Nolan did. We've got a bunch of test footage. The A7C is amazing. And so I saw that there's some rebates if you buy like a Sony smartphone, but not any major sales that I've seen recently. 200D versus the Canon M50. The 200D2 is, what camera is that? What SL2. So I would get the M50 over the SL2, but if you were going to maybe get the SL3 or the M50, it's up to you. The SL3 has a clean HDMI output and is a DSLR, so the workflow is a little bit different, but it also has less autofocus points, which shouldn't hurt you, but only like 9, and the M50 has like 50 or 100, I forget. And so I think that, by the way, you can't go wrong with the SL2s either. So, which is the 200D, I believe, based on my research here. I need to mention those European numbers. This is a great question. What are your thoughts about the T7? The problem, if a Canon camera does not have the eye, then it's not as intended for video and you don't have the microphone input. And in one of our best camera for YouTube trainings, we were talking about the things YouTube creators need. Hopefully a flip screen. That's the weakness of the Sony A7 III I mentioned. It's no flip screen. So if you don't have somebody helping you film, it can just be frustrating. And I'd want to get the A7C. So I got the selfie screen. Mic input. Headphone jack doesn't matter as much, but it's nice. But you want to have that mic input. So you can always have better audio and synced up audio. And so there's ways to work around it. But a couple cameras that I would just warn you about, they're not bad cameras, but I would warn you about them, is the Canon T7. Now, if it's about what is it you need. So the Canon T7, are you going to do photography? Well, then great, get the Canon T7. But if you're going to do video, then you're going to want the T7i. The other one is the Canon 200D. Is that, am I talking about the right camera? No. What is that new little guy called? The new M flipper guy, Canon M. The flipper guy, the M200. So they're talking about this camera a lot. Again, good for photography. It's basically an M50. You could live stream with it. There's the free software. and you could look into more about that, but it doesn't have a mic input, man. And so the fact that I could get an M50 right now for $430 on Canon's refurbished situation with the 1-year warranty, you know, nothing wrong with it besides the fact that like they're saying it's for YouTube creators, but there's no mic input. So again, get the model that has the features that you want the most. Watch the beginning of this video, Keto Twins, because we talked about 2 microphone deals. One from Deity if you want to get a pro shotgun mic, a little more expensive, or the BOYA one, super good deal right now. Canon RP is on sale right now. They are doing some Black Friday deals. I think that would be a super smart move to get. Where is it? EOS RP. Maybe it's somewhere else that I saw the deals. It's full frame, so it's definitely going to be a more affordable full frame situation. And yes, cropped 4K, but really other than that, I would recommend it. We haven't used it a ton, but I would recommend the Canon EOS RP. I thought I was sharing my screen. And so, you know, you got the flip screen. You do also have the record limit. So when I start thinking about spending, like, what are you going to use it for? Like, if I was going to spend this much money, I would maybe be getting a Sony A6100 or like an A6400 potentially, which is going to be like a little bit more probably, right? Maybe not. $900. Like, if it's me, now mind you, this is not full frame, but what do you need it for, right? You're going to be doing like wedding photography. I want the full frame Canon with the Canon colors. Are you going to be doing more live streaming and long form YouTube content? You want a versatile YouTube machine? I probably want to go with the Sony uncropped 4K. Are you going to be shooting in 4K? These are really important questions that you want to ask. And so think about those as well. Best video light on under 50. That video is coming out shortly here on Think Media, literally like Monday. So just Tuesday. Buckle your seatbelt and we'll be coming soon. Canon 90D versus M50 Mark II versus A7C versus ZV-1 versus A6600. Good question. I think that the amount of landscape you've covered with this question is a little too broad, in my opinion. You know, $700 for the M50 Mark II or the ZV-1. A7C is like $1,800. 6600 is like $1,400. 90D is like $1,400. So I don't know if you just have like money, like your problem. You're like, Sean, I just have too much money. Like, I just don't, it's just, you know, and I'm joking, but you know what I mean? Like that's a big budget question. So here's what I would say for this question. I would say, what is your total budget for building out like a YouTube studio? And I want you to think about that entire checklist, because you want to think about software and computers and so on and so forth. The reason I say that, right, is that when you start building out a studio, you might go, well, if I have $2,000 for like everything, then, and I spend it all on an A7C, I don't even have a lens yet, right? Whereas if I had $2,000 for everything, I'd probably buy like a $600-700 video editing PC that could handle 1080p video editing. I'd buy like a budget monitor. I'd buy some lighting kits. You could get everything you need to build like a media production business for $2,000, including the computer, including the software deals, etc. But what I want to leave you with is, what's your like kind of your total budget for the things you need? What are the needs you have for the content you want to create, 4K live streaming? And then which camera fits best into those buckets for your needs? Because if you give me that question and you just kind of blow the roof off with opportunity to like talk about anything, I would probably I'd get the A7C, because I think that the best pro camera for YouTube right now is the Sony A7C. Why? Because you got the full frame, and you got the selfie screen, and you got unlimited record limit, and you got IBIS, and you got the mic input. And so it's going to cost you more on the lenses. You could do 4K. It's going to make your whole workflow more expensive, because your whole workflow is going to require the ability to edit 4K. But if I was personally going to move into, you got the headphone jack, I think it's like a YouTube camera's YouTube creator dream. Even people, well, what about the Sony A7S3. Well, dude, it's way more expensive and it's overkill for YouTube. I think this one hits that perfect sweet spot for that person that wants that crispy pro looking setup, but it's not trying to make cinematic films and color grade them for hours on end. And so anyways, that's my opinion. What are your needs? Tell me the needs that you have for the content you want to create. What's your niche maybe? What's your category? What kind of content are you creating? Best live streaming cameras with all that you know with a $1,500 budget. Anything Sony? Not anything, but you could start with an A6100. I think would be a good place to start. Man, this looks like some deals. Like this, I don't remember this being, I guess, $750. It's over $700, but this would be a great live streaming camera. Clean HDMI outputs out of these guys. And then you could scale up from here. So as far as best live streaming cameras, because you can stream 4K, probably what it needs to, 60 frames, 1080, because you've got unlimited record time, easy to get a dummy battery. Very cool. And Sony's coming out with their own software as well, I think. And maybe it's already out. Correct me, friends in the Think Media community, if you know about that. Well, hey, I'm going to be doing more streams. I should be coming back at you on Saturday. And so let me know what you're shopping for this year. Best vlog lens for the M50. My favorite is that 10-22 because you really want that wide angle lens. And you can always convert on the M50 like the EFS 10-18. But just Canon's wide zoom lenses are the ones, man. Sigma, yeah, but it doesn't have image stabilization and it's fixed. So I would definitely, if I'm going to be walking around, I'm going with the EFM 10-22, I believe is the focal length stepper motor. And I believe that lens has image stabilization in the lens. So it's going to take out a little bit of the shake. Best deal for the M50. Check out link in the description below. We touched on that earlier. And so you can see the best deals for the M50 if you're just joining. Smash like if you got value today. What is on your video gear list this year? Let me know. And if you haven't seen this video yet, Omar breaks down the best budget YouTube studio for beginners with $500 or less to talk about audio, video, lighting, and stabilization. It's not just about the camera. It's about all of the things.